In this video, we'll discuss how the shape of your nose can point to potential back problems as well as overall spinal health dynamics. Enjoy. In today's face reading tutorial, we're going to talk about the bridge of the nose and how the nose has direct ties to spinal dynamics, how the spine expresses in life. So why is this important? The spine is pretty critical in Eastern medical theory. What they talk about is the integrity of the spine, how well the vertebrae are decompressed, how well that energy moves through the spine, through the dura mater, the tissue inside the spine, has very real ties to our longevity. There's a term, it's called zhongqi, and it's a Chinese word. Zhongqi has to do with upright qi. It has to do with the uprightness of the spine and the rib cage and how well we express our jing. So the thinking is that if we have a nice upright spine and good posture, the capacity for our genetic blueprint to express optimally is made better the more straight the spine is, the more upright it is, the more lengthened it is. So this is important. It's something we want to pay attention to. We have a lot of different shapes that come along the bridge of the nose. Some people's bridge is very wide, some is very narrow. Some people have a bump on the bridge here like I do. So if you see that little bump, that's favorable in Chinese medicine. They say that 40s have kind of a nice undulating quality, but there's some discrepancies with that shape as well. So the idea is you want to think the bones of the face, especially this, is going to be relating to the spine a bit. So it doesn't mean you're doomed into, or you have this great fortune that is locked in stone. It's saying this is how your genetics express. These are things to be mindful of. And face reading ultimately is about paying attention to these shapes and these colorings and bone structure on the face as a means to navigate your life better, to sort of see down the road a little bit and say, there's a left-hand turn up here that's pretty sharp. We need to pay attention to that. And looking at the face like this gives you a bit of a roadmap. So collectively on the large scale, the wider the bridge of the nose, it's said the more physical integrity the spine has. So wide bridge of the nose, when the nose is wide this way typically, and especially if the bone is wide, it's not just flesh, that means spinal integrity. That means physical impact in terms of withstanding or not being as injured as easily. Also the integrity of the muscles around the spine. So the spine being broad and the nose, bridge of the nose being broad, strong spine. So that means a bunch of things. Strong will, because the bones relate to the kidneys harness will. It means good posture in terms of minimizing pain. When we have excess pain or consistent pain, it's a constant qi depletion metric. It means it's always depleting us. So the wider it is, technically the better, that's good. The narrower the bridge of the nose is, when this is very narrow, this means that there can be a weakness in the spine muscles, a little more propensity to being injured. That means you don't withstand impact as well as you possibly could. A nose that comes to mind is Christopher Reeve's nose. So Christopher Reeve, now mind you, any person having a horse land on them probably would have broken their neck. But it also points to these life terrain metrics of like a weaker nose can mean like spinal injury is more likely. So you have to be careful with that and pay attention to it. So keep this in mind. Keep these big, larger metrics in the picture. And I'll leave you with this other image to think about. So there are many diagrams of where you can overlay the human body onto the face. And so you can sort of see where things link up and how the face as a geography relates to the entire body. So the image that I've seen over the years is one where I'm going to see if I can find this image. If I can't, I apologize, but I'm going to describe it to you. Imagine a person overlaid onto your face. The head is loosely somewhere in this area here. The arms rest over the eyebrows, sort of like this, like the arms are resting over the eyebrows. The torso is directly over the nose, and the sex organs sort of coalesce right here at the tip, and then the legs butterfly out like this and down the face this way. So it's a person overlaid onto the face like that, and that kind of paints the picture for how we can see the spinal dynamics showing up right here. And interestingly enough, the sex organs coalesce right here at the tip of the nose, and in the the facial map that I've made, you'll notice that the uterus and sex organs reside right here. So the geography is very close in terms of the sex organs. So we can see this sex organ relationship with the tip of the nose and right here. So if we see changes in the tip of the nose too, sometimes it can actually point to sexual dysfunction. It can be lots of different things. That's a very nuanced conversation, but I wanted to put this lens on your radar so you have one more layer to sort of think about the body in relation to face reading and things to be mindful of. If you have questions, which I'm sure you probably do, more than answers, feel free to put them down below. And as always, thanks for your time.